everybody. Thank you all so much for coming. This is a brand new type of video that I'm doing on this channel. About, I don't know, a couple of months ago, maybe 6 months ago or something, I posted a video. Actually, no, it was definitely more than that. It was about a year ago that I posted a video on this channel where I outlined this story and I just kind of came up with a story on the fly and created a whole like outline and plot grid and everything as an example story of how I plot stories and how I use plot grids. And I got a comment on that video a while ago saying, it would be really cool maybe if you did one of these live. And I thought that would be a really interesting thing to try. So that's what we're doing today. I am going to basically go through everything that I went through in that video. So talking about how I go about writing or plotting books, like how I start, what plot points I start with, how I flesh things out. And I want to do it collaboratively. So I want, everybody who's in the comments, write down your ideas. We're going to brainstorm together, and together I'll walk you through how I would go about outlining this story that we brainstormed together. So I want this to be super collaborative. I'm really excited about it. I hope you are too. I think it's going to be fun. I think it'll be a fun thing to try live. And if it's an epic disaster, then we never have to do it again and we can forget that this ever happened. Yeah, so hello. Ivory Roses, hi. Thank you so much for coming. I hope that you can stick around and help me plot out this story. I am thinking that maybe, since I have a lot of experience, obviously, writing mysteries and thrillers, we can try to maybe write kind of a more suspenseful story. It doesn't have to be like a thriller or a mystery or anything, but something that, has tight pacing. So we can, I can show you how I would go about pacing things and making sure things are tightly paced and not dragging in certain areas. Yes, yay, epic disaster. That's what we're here for. Hi, so good to see you. Hi, Gail. It's so good to see you too. I'm so excited that you all are here. How are we feeling about getting started? I have a couple of sticky notes next to my laptop of kind of an itinerary. So what I want to do, just so we're all on the same page before we get started, is what I did in the video is I started by figuring out the major plot points of the story. So like who the main character is, what the main character wants, what is standing in that person's way, and what the antagonist wants, and just like very basic bare bones. And then we can start fleshing that out a little bit more, asking some questions maybe about, different potential subplots, and really trying to grasp a good idea of what the core of this story is about. And then after that, moved on to the bare bones of the plot points. So like, what is the point of entry? What is the inciting incident? What is the midpoint, etc.? And then afterwards, I fit everything into a plot grid. So I will talk in this video kind of about what a plot grid is, and then show you how I would set one up from scratch when making one for a potential story idea. So that is kind of my idea for this video. As I mentioned before, I definitely want all of you who are here to be super collaborative and brainstorm this story with me. I have not planned what the story is going to be about. I have absolutely no idea. I'm going into this blind, and I'm hopeful that you will have some ideas and I can come up with some stuff on the fly and we can create something that is kind of fun. So yeah, I'm really excited. Ivory Roses said, I'm starting a new book while I take a break from my other. This is great to see. Oh, good. That's awesome. What's your new book about? Let us know. All right. So how about we get started? So I have a Google Doc that I created for this, which I will share now. Let me know if you all can see it. Cool. So our first item on our to-do list to come up with an original story and to plot it out is that we have to figure out what the story is about, and we have to figure out all of the major plot points. So usually how I go about this, when I start writing a book, I always have kind of a preliminary idea of what the story is. But let's say that we're just sitting down and we want to write a book and we have no idea what it's about. So there are a couple of things that you need to do this. First, you need a main character. You need a goal for your main character. You need something standing in their way. And if you have an antagonist, your antagonist needs to want something. So goal for antagonist. Not every story has an antagonist. A lot of times the antagonists are the protagonists themselves if they're battling with themselves. Oftentimes, antagonists can be forces, like if it's a natural disaster story, the antagonist can be a force that the people in the story have to deal with. But for the sake of this video, just to keep things really simple, let's say that we have a character and we have an opposing person or some opposing group of people maybe that is preventing that character from achieving what they want to achieve. Do any of you have any ideas for any of these characters and who they could potentially be? If you don't have any ideas, I can spitball, but I think it would be more fun if we did it together. Let's see. Any ideas, anybody? I can start. I can start with the main character. How about, trying to think of some fun tropes. I always default toward thriller, mystery tropes. So how about we have a main character who is a oh, cool, we have a comment. Okay, Ivy Rose has said a boy whose name is Zach. Perfect. Okay, so our main character is Zach. Zach is a paranormal investigator. Can you tell that I'm a thriller writer? Cool. So Zach is a paranormal investigator. Zach has to have a goal or something that he wants to achieve. I think the job of a paranormal investigator includes some pretty tangible goals. So if there is something spooky happening, then maybe the paranormal investigator will have to tackle that spooky thing. Oh, we got a comment. Gail said, your yellow shirt is intriguing for something to incorporate. A favorite color, maybe. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, how about, oh, yes. Can you make the font size bigger? It's hard to see the screen in the chat box. Yes, absolutely, I can. Let me see. Is this any better? Yes, this is probably better. He's looking for a yellow alien. Perfect. Okay, so Zach, our paranormal investigator, his goal is to rid the town or a town, we'll figure out which town later, of an evil yellow alien. Awesome. Perfect. So the goal for the antagonist, obviously then in this story, the antagonist is the evil yellow alien. And there's something standing in Zach's way of defeating this evil yellow alien is that this evil yellow alien has to have some sort of ability that makes it harder for the alien to be defeated. So maybe the alien is able, you know, there's so many different alien stories. So what we have to figure out what this alien looks like, what form the alien takes, if it's kind of a alien that possesses people, if it's an alien that's kind of like a bunch of yellow goo that can get into things. Does the alien kill people? Does the alien shut down power? Like what does this alien do? Because once we figure out exactly how the alien operates, then we'll be able to figure out how Zach is going to have to defeat this alien. So I always thought that it's kind of cool to have creatures that are not very, because you know, if you want to make a story that's kind of suspenseful and spooky, you don't want your characters to know everything there is to know about the thing that they are trying to defeat. So for example, in a lot of haunted house movies, if you don't know a lot about the ghosts, then they're a lot scarier than if you know all of the rules about the ghosts, because they become a little bit more predictable or understandable in our minds. So I think that we need to keep some of these things vague surrounding the aliens if we want to make it a little spooky. Brian Tells Tales said the alien possesses his brother, so he can't kill him. That is a twist. I really like that twist. We will absolutely do that. I wonder if we can have this be like a midpoint twist halfway through. So like originally the paranormal investigator is going and trying to stop the alien, and then halfway through realizes that the alien has possessed his brother. So now there's like a personal conflict and it changes the story a little bit. So maybe he doesn't start out possessing his brother, but then he does. Oh, that's going to be a cool plot twist. Ivy Roses says the alien can shapeshift maybe. Yes, also a very good idea. So I'm going to write down here about the alien possessing Zach's brother. And yeah, so something standing in their way, alien shape shifts. Maybe the alien is a bunch of goo that can take the form of people and also possess people. We can keep it a little ambiguous. Um, and yes, exactly. Ivory roses and possesses who the alien wants. Exactly. Ophelia Edwards said the alien used his brother to murder someone else in the town. Oh, that's very interesting. Because then it's a huge moral conflict. So if we do this idea, we have to figure out, is the brother still conscious in his mind while he's being possessed, or is he just dormant? And if they get the alien out, is the brother still alive, or is the brother not alive? Like, did the alien had to boot out the brother in order to take over the body, or not? Because that will impact the moral issues of the plot. I think it might provide more conflict if the brother is still alive in there, the alien's just possessing the body, because then if they stop the alien, then they would also kill the brother. So that adds an extra twist. So the alien used his brother to murder someone in the town. Love that idea. Okay, so this kind of leads us to a different question, is what does this alien want? Like, does this alien want to murder people? Why is this alien murdering people, and why this town specifically? The alien has to have some sort of motivation, and also kind of like, what is a brief backstory on the alien? Like, where did the alien come from? Is the alien a lab accident? Is the alien like attached to a meteor and it just happens to hit that town? Maybe the alien needs to build up enough strength in order to go and travel somewhere to do something. Maybe it was sent to Earth for like on a mission. What do we think about kind of general goals for the alien? Why would the alien be murdering people in the town? Because that's very important. Ivory Rosa says maybe this alien might possess Zach as the climax, and it's Zach's consciousness versus the alien. Oh, that's also very interesting. I like that idea. Like Zach is able to get the alien out of the brother, but then the alien jumps into him and he has to battle in his mind to defeat the alien. Okay, so we'll put that down too. Alien possesses Zach's consciousness during the climax. This actually is a little bit of foreshadowing, but one of my favorite plot points in just general when writing is that all hope is lost section right during the climax, where like the heroes think they're about to defeat the villain, and then there's just that moment where they think they're going to fail and then they have to pull through somehow and still defeat the villain. So that alien possession could be a great all hope is lost moment, because he has to, like, he thinks he might be able to defeat the alien, and at the last minute the alien possesses him and then he has to battle the alien in his head. So that's that. Well, we're going to come back to this. Ivory Rosa says this alien has a sad backstory. Maybe humans killed his family and he is wanting revenge. Okay. I'm going to write, I think we had a couple of comments, so we'll write them down. So alien wants revenge. Gail said maybe the alien wants the positive connection between Zach and his brother, but in its culture, murdering is kudos points. That's very possible. Like the alien wants to have a positive friendship. Oh, so the alien wants to like mend a friendship between Zach and his brother. I'm not sure I 100% understand, Gail, what you mean. I think, yeah, just could you clarify whether you mean the alien wants a positive connection between them, like to heal kind of a broken relationship, or if the alien wants the kudos points for murder? Brian Tells Tales said, no idea why or what he does, but I'm feeling there's a really important side character who is a high school college custodian. Okay. We will write this down. We're going to get to side characters too. It's just like whenever I plot, I always start right in the middle and then we kind of grow outwards, because we have to try to figure out like, what is the major theme of this story going to be about, and what other kind of side characters can we create around it in order to drive that message home. So, all right, we're going to put down high school custodian. This is starting to take shape. I'm excited about this. This is really fun doing this collaboratively. I've never done this before. Hi Piper. Oh, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. I hope that this isn't too confusing just to jump into. We are plotting a story right now that we are going to develop into a kind of full outline for a book and plot grid. Ophelia Edwards says, "What if Zach and his brother became distant due to an incident when they were young? Maybe the brother may have been the cause of the death of his loved one." Oh, I like that. Okay. Um, and Gail said, like the alien sees a good positive friendship between Zach and the brother, so the alien kills the brother to replace him to have the friendship with Zach. Oh, okay. I also like this. I think these two answers are a little bit like we have to kind of choose one direction to go in, whether the alien is jealous of the positive relationship, which would probably require the alien to have some sort of personal backstory where he's really desiring that brotherly relationship. Um, or maybe we can also have both, actually. If Zach and his brother became distant due to an incident when they were young, and the alien comes in and thinks that maybe it's a more positive relationship than it is, or maybe somehow I like the idea of the alien's involvement somehow bringing the characters closer by the end of the story. I think that that could be kind of a good feel good story. And then this story really at its core is not really about the alien, it's about the relationship between the brothers and how they heal their trauma and broken relationship with each other through this alien possession. And then Zach is going to have to battle all of his internal demons, like the guilt maybe of all the stuff that happened with his brother is going to end up having to be something he confronts in order to defeat the alien later, which all would wrap back up with the brother plot. Okay, I'm gonna write all of this down. Oh, hi, Liz. For all of you who don't know, Liz narrates all of the They Stay audiobooks, and she is fantastic. So I'm very honored that she would narrate this story. um, Ophelia Edwards says, maybe the brothers allow the town to believe that they're still close. Oh yeah, that is also true. That yeah, that's true because then maybe the alien can fall, not prey, but like fall into the idea that the brothers are also still close. Gail said Ophelia Edwards has more conflict. I think. Yeah, we love conflict. We're going for conflict. Okay, so how about let's put in the thing. So the this is tricky, juggling all of these things live. Okay, so the major theme, maybe we're going to toy around with having a major theme be about the brothers' relationship and healing like shared trauma or a broken relationship with each other. So by the end of the book, they get close. So then we will have, okay, yeah. So then their backstory is that when Zach, Ophelia Edwards or anybody else, does anyone have any ideas for what the tragic event could have been in Zach and his brother's life that could have broken them apart or fractured them in some way? I know, Ophelia Edwards, you mentioned the brother may have been the cause of death of a loved one. Do you have any ideas for like any specifics or how the brother could have been involved or which loved one it could have been? Think about that and I'll catch up on the typing. Zach and his brother were little. A tragic event happened, resulting in the death of ... Let's see. Gail said parent, sister, girlfriend. Oh yeah, how old are Zach and his brother? That's also very important. Are they very young kids or are they adults? What kind of genre do we want to do for this? I really always write YA, so I only ever think about teen protagonists, but I am open to anything. Zeno Marak said the brothers lost their dog and found it dead and blame each other. Oh, that's so sad. I don't think I could do. I don't like thinking about animals. Look, you're gonna make me cry. I don't want to think about dogs. We're gonna do maybe not dogs. Liz said mother died in childbirth. Oh, very possible. Yeah, because then one brother can blame the other brother for being the cause of the mother's death. Yes. Ivory Roses said maybe one of the brothers likes boating, and one day while boating, the other brother fell over and could have died. Instead, their father saved the brother, but died instead. Ooh, that's very dramatic. Oh, that's very, very dramatic. I like that one. College age, okay. College age sounds good. The brother could be younger than Zach, also very true. We can definitely combine a lot of these ideas. Brian Tells Tales said could somehow tie the tragic event into the creation or finding of the alien. Oh, also true. Because really, if the alien seems to be the alien is the physical manifestation, or it's the representation of the brothers' conflict. Like, they are fighting the alien, but really what they're doing is kind of battling each other in a way, and like also trying to overcome all of their baggage toward each other. So the alien really represents that conflict. The alien is not an actual alien. So I like this idea of having the tragedy somehow spark the whole alien. But if the tragedy results in the finding of the alien, the tragedy has to have been very recent if the alien is going to start attacking. But if it ties into the creation of the alien, like, I don't know, the boat hits a rock, which creates a spark that like catches something or like does something to the rock, it can be a little zany. We don't have to get super, scientific about the way that the aliens are created. But if we want the event to be recent, then we can have it play into the discovery of the alien. Zach sounded like 19 from the beginning. Yeah, I agree. I think I think college age we can do. This whole paranormal investigator thing is starting to become less and less important. I don't think that he's going to end up being a paranormal investigator. Ophelia Edwards said, what if the brother has been harboring ill intention and have interest in death? And when the brothers were young, the brother acted on it and oh no, I think I have to do all these comments in order. Gail said, off Brian Tells Tales, they opened a portal that sucked the loved one through. Oh, also true. Kind of like the Ouija board thing, where they use a Ouija board and then accidentally open something. Maybe Zach is the one to blame and feels guilt and mad that he's getting blamed. Oh, in the boat accident. Victor Scientist. How will Zach find out that there is an alien? Maybe the brother took the wrong path since the death of the parent, and Zach, being the older responsible brother, could never steer the brother toward the right path after the brother blamed himself. Oh, so the brother is angry at himself for causing the death, and then Zach has always wanted to reach out to the brother, and then the brother hasn't wanted to reciprocate in some way. That's also very possible. Okay, so this is all very, very good stuff. My brain is like working very fast to try to synthesize all of this stuff. Okay, so let's say I like this boat idea. So how about when Zach and his brother were little, a tragic event happened, resulting, or I also like the portal idea. I like how it's tied into the creation of the alien. So let's say, oh yeah, so let's say maybe that when Jack and his little brother were little, a tragic event happened, maybe they like to do science experiments, kind of blending a lot of these ideas together. They can maybe do like science experiments in their attic or something, and one went wrong, creating a weird chemical reaction that resulted maybe in like in a big explosion or portal being created that sucked a loved one through. So maybe, I don't know which, I think I heard a lot of mother and father deaths in the comments. So let's say, I don't know, just randomly flipping a coin, we can just say that pulled their mother through. So then this can create a lot of tension, maybe because one of them liked the science experiments more than the other one. Experiments more than the other one. So that one of them blames the other one for the death. And it's that kind of explosion that created the alien. And maybe the alien has been living inside of their house, or like has attached onto some kind of object or something in their house and has slowly been growing over the course of some years to allow that like relationship to grow apart and like a lot of tension to be established between the two of them, maybe. I think that sounds fun. Let's see. One of them. So I also like the idea of. I mean, I like all these ideas. I'm just trying to fit all of these comments into one kind of main story. So I remember the idea of one of the brothers being younger than the other. So maybe the younger one is the one who really, I don't know, because the older sibling, younger sibling relationship, I feel like is going to play into this also. So I don't want to just make it random because the older sibling a lot of the times feels very protective over their younger sibling. But I think the older sibling would also feel, a lot of resentment if the younger sibling was the reason that they lost something really important to them by like acting recklessly, maybe. And I mean, I am an older sibling, so I think younger siblings, if any of you are younger siblings and can maybe comment on this, I don't know what it would be like if the roles were reversed and like your older sibling was the reason that your parent died. Because I don't know if we have any votes for maybe who should be the one whose kind of fault it was that this science experiment went bad, because then we can create kind of a traumatic event that can fracture their relationship. We're also getting very deep into this, and we should probably pick up the pace so we can get through everything. I don't want to, suck up everybody's entire nights. Ophelia Edwards said, maybe Jack wanted to stop, but his little brother enjoyed it. What if Zach took the blame for what happened? I think Zach should be older. Okay, I agree. Let's make Zach older. So Zach is older. He's older. Do we have a name for his younger brother? Does anyone have a favorite name that doesn't sound anything like Zach so that we don't get them mixed up? Gail said, I think Zach's brother might be more involved. Not sure who should be younger or older. Yeah, so maybe the younger brother is the one whose idea it was behind the science experiments, but he needed his older brother's help. And then maybe something that the older brother did, or maybe if the younger brother, it was the younger brother's idea to do the experiments, but something that the older brother did is the reason that experiment went wrong. So both of them are kind of to blame. So they both have a reason to blame each other. Yes. Gail said Cody. Piper said, my favorite boy name is Eric. Oh, we have so many options. Pete, Steven, Riley, Mac. I'm going to write all these down because we are going to come back to them when we name all the other characters in the book. Gail said Cody, JK. All right, so then the first serious suggestion we got was Eric. So we'll do Eric, and then we will come back to all these names when we have to name all of the side characters, like the janitor or custodian that Brian Tells Tales was talking about earlier. So all right, we'll have Zach and Eric is younger. I can't type and talk at the same time. Okay, so Zach is like 19, around 19. Eric, we want to say maybe they're like 4-ish years apart. So maybe Eric is 15 at the time of this conflict going down. So Eric wanted to do experiments, but Zach is the reason they went wrong. So the reason that they don't talk now is because both blame each other for Mom's death. So in order for them to come out of that and for them to overcome that, which is going to be the arc of this story, both of them have to learn either how to forgive each other or learn that both of them are like it's neither of their faults. Like it was just a horrible accident that happened, but being angry at each other forever is only going to do harm and not do any good. So that's going to be the general arc of the story, and that's where they have to end up. So both of them, I think, have to overcome a different thing that they're ashamed of. So both of them have to have some deep shame for the part that they played in their mom's death. So like, let's say Eric, he's ashamed because he's not very organized, and he's like, because if he's the kid that wants to do all the experiments and he's maybe a little bit impulsive and he doesn't think things through or plan things all the time, which is why maybe he had an oversight that caused that big explosion or caused the portal to open up and have their mom be drawn through it. He's ashamed because he's not very. Wait, I just thought of a plot twist that might be a little bit too much for this story. But what if instead of getting drawn through the portal, the mom is the alien? Like, something about the reaction created, like, the life of the mom is what ended up becoming the life force of the alien, and that's like a big reveal toward the end of the story. And it's like kind of this might be a little too out there. I don't know. Let me know what you think. We can have, if we have enough votes for yes, we can run with it. But that, I can't really get a reading as to whether that would change the story a little. That would make it a little dark, but it's also kind of fun. Little intrigue. But okay, so Eric is ashamed because he's not very organized and he's impulsive, and he didn't foresee the experiment meant going wrong. And Zach, he is ashamed because he did something and he messed up. What could Zach have done to have caused it? I mean, we don't have to get into the serious specifics. But maybe like Zach had some kind of oversight, or I don't know, because we want the brothers to be different, and we want their shame to be different, because later when we kind of create a climax, we're going to have to think of different things or tasks or situations that they have to overcome in order to win this internal battle with themselves and repair their relationship with their brother. So maybe because he's too scared of things and he freezes up when things go wrong. So when something in the experiment went wrong, he didn't act quickly enough, and that's maybe why he is partially responsible for the explosion. Or overconfident with the experiment. Oh yeah, I think Eric is overconfident, because if he's like the really like bold sciencey guy, he can totally be overconfident in the experiment. Let's see. Ophelia Edwards said, what if it was a group? Zach was watching his little brother and two of his friends were there. Maybe Eric does not truly remember what happens and blames his older brother and his friends. I like that, because he's not really taking responsibility for it. And then he has to kind of confront that it was also his fault over the course of the story. I like that. So both blame each other. Eric doesn't blame himself at all. He blames his brother and friends. I like it being a group thing too. Oh, good. I'm glad that we have some support for the plot twist. Gail beat me to it, so I'm glad that you're cool with it. Sorry, that got lost in the comments. You take absolute credit for that. Ivy Rose said it brings comedy, but maybe calm it a little down. Or the mother's soul was taken by the alien. Yeah. I didn't think of it as a way of it like bringing comedy. I thought it would be like very dark to have the alien like kind of be what the mother had turned into. It wasn't really an alien. It was just kind of like a life force. I mean, I guess it was some kind of alien. I don't know. I think that we can do it in a dark way. Like I feel like if the mother was the alien, the story would be very dark. Let's see. Gail said the alien has been living in the mother's urn the whole time, if not a portal. Oh, I also like that. Has like kind of festering or something and growing in power. I like that after the explosion, the alien was living in the house, and it was kind of like a ticking bomb as to when the alien will also like eventually be powerful enough to infiltrate the family or something. Okay, so I feel like that's a good bare bones of the story, except we just have to figure out what the goal for the antagonist is. So, is the alien the mother, or is the alien not the mother? And does the alien want to kill people, or does it want to possess people? Or if it's the mother, does it want to heal the relationship between the brothers somehow? So the like murder is not really even on the table anymore. Maybe the whole goal of the alien is to repair this like broken relationship between the siblings because the mother kind of sees that they're fractured, because that would be such a good twist halfway through the story. um Ophelia Edwards said, "What if the brother allows the alien to possess him to punish the people he believed killed his mother?" Oh, that's also true. That would be cool. Gail said, "Maybe the Eric possessed alien attacks Zach as the inciting incident, and Eric has to trust Zach because Eric doesn't know what happens when the alien takes over." Oh, I like that. Okay, we're about to get to inciting incident. Hold that thought. We just need to figure out a goal for the antagonist, and then we're going to move on to actually plotting. But I like that. Okay, so we have Ivory Roses has a vote from Mother. Yes, okay, good. Another vote from Mother. All right, I think that this is I'm feeling really excited about this direction the story can go. Piper said, "What if Eric blames Zach for summoning an alien?" Also true. So, like, if the mother really is the alien and the mother's goal is not to force like or to kill anyone, and it's just to get both of them to recognize that like maybe both not that like both of them did something wrong, but like just to stop blaming each other, and like the alien is going to take them on kind of an emotional journey. um I think that because the alien doesn't have any ill intentions, the brothers figure like assuming ill intent and blaming each other for stuff is going to be a huge part of the conflict. Anonymous Leaf said, "What if the alien is the mom and possesses Zach and Eric so she can talk to them?" Oh yeah, we're gonna have to figure out, can the mom actually talk to the boys when she's possessing them? Like, do they know that it's the mom? I feel like they shouldn't know that it's the mom, because otherwise that would take all the power out of the twist. If like we learn, because I feel like we should learn that the mom is the alien during the climax. Like, because this whole time they're like, we need to kill the alien, and then they realize like, oh no, that's like not the alien that we need to be killing. Um, Goat Back R said, "I don't know what we're talking about, but the alien is not the mother and wants to be the mother." Oh, I don't really understand. Or, hmm. What we're talking about is we're plotting out a story from scratch, and we are trying to, like, just kind of brainstorming together and trying to figure out the major conflict of this story. And right now we have a story about a boy named Zach and his younger brother Eric, who a long time ago they were like experimenting with scientific experiments in their attic, and something went horribly wrong, and it killed their mother in this like either portal opening or giant explosion. And then years later, the brothers don't talk, so they both blame each other for their mother's death. And then all of a sudden, this alien kind of starts entering their town and possessing people and doing something. We're right now trying to figure out what the goal of the mother is. I think maybe if it's to repair the relationship between the brothers, that's a potential goal, but that's what we're talking about now. Brian Tells Tale says, "Is the alien a separate creature, a symbiote like Venom?" That's how I was picturing it, yes. Some kind of separate creature um, who can kind of possess people but doesn't kill them when they're possessed. Um, and Gail said, "I feel that makes Zach and Eric each other's antagonists." Yeah, this would be like if we chose this route, it would be a very different story. Um, Piper said, "Is the alien good or bad? What planet or dimension is it from? And can it shapeshift?" All very good questions. Yeah, that's why we're trying to figure out, because this impacts the genre and theme of or like the general feeling of the story we're telling. If we wanted to write this as like a kind of scary thriller, we would have to have the alien be trying to kill someone, and the alien probably wouldn't be the mother. Unless we want to have kind of like a Moana situation. I don't know if any of you have seen Moana. I'm not going to spoil it, but there are characters in there who like you think are really evil and are just misunderstood, or like something really bad has happened to them, is kind of twist their mind a little bit. So we can maybe do that. So like maybe there's something a little twisted because the mother has been an alien for years, so she maybe like is trying to defend something or is trying to prevent people from doing it. And then as soon as they recognize that she's the mother, everything is healed and everything is happy and their relationship is healed. Um, But if we were writing a mystery thriller, the antagonist would have to be the alien because and the alien would probably have to kill people, but if we write more of like a character-driven drama, then the antagonist could be like Eric is Zach's antagonist and the other way around. Um, this story is getting very complicated. We're kind of, we're not doing a very simple story anymore. You've kind of bitten off a lot for this example story. Um, but maybe in the world of the story, let's keep it a little bit simple and still just like so just so it doesn't get overly complicated because we don't have like all of the time in the world. Marak said, "Wait, I'm confused. So was the mom an alien the whole time, or did she travel back to her universe in the form of an alien?" No, the explosion or reaction, I think, is what created, like, turned her into an alien, or turned her kind of like because she died, but like her life force maybe was like turned into some sort of symbiote, kind of like venom or something, and maybe that made it um, made like her mind a little twisted or something, or like it was just such a big trauma and she doesn't really understand what happened. And um maybe Gail said maybe she's trying to make Zach and Eric aliens by killing or with her by killing them, if you want to go with the mom as the villain route. That's a very good idea. And Ophelia Edwards said, what if the alien does not want to kill but Eric convinced it to? Ooh, also very interesting. I feel like this one is very cool, but it might be a little too complicated for us to use for our example story, just for the sake of this video. So how about we go with this? So let's say that the mom, this is not like necessarily a feel-good story, and that something in the explosion had maybe like something twisted in the mom's mind. She's really lonely. She's not really thinking straight. She's not thinking about her kids in an empathetic way. She wants to kill them and turn them into aliens too. Let's do that because it's simple or simpler. Okay, so the antagonist is the mom, aka the alien, kind of like Venom, and the goal is to turn Zach and Eric into aliens too. I think we'll get rid of Zach being a paranormal investigator because right now, not super relevant. Okay, I'm feeling good about this outline so far. This is very cool. I get really excited doing these kinds of videos and stories, especially like I've never done them collaboratively before, but this is so fun to do this with you all because it's so much more fun than doing it by myself because everybody is coming up with different ideas and we can combine them into this really cool dynamic story. And 43 minutes ago we didn't have a story and now we have a really cool layered, weird, creepy family drama-esque murder story about aliens. It's awesome. Okay. So, Piper said, "What if the mom was infected by an alien parasite that made her villainous?" I think this is what we're going for, but I think that she becomes the alien parasite during the explosion. Like, I think she is like, I don't know if any of you have seen Venom, like the kind of like alien in the or in the I'm not the biggest comic person. Like I enjoy the movies, but I don't really remember whether Venom. I think Venom is a D or whether Venom whatever. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for this. The superhero anti-hero character of the like alien dude that like binds to the guy and they like talk to each other, but they're kind of separate entities. I think the mom is the Venom kind of symbiote dude. Thank you for being patient with me. What if Zach is a rookie cop? Zach could be a rookie cop. I think he needs to be a little older than 19 to be a rookie cop, but I might be wrong about that. I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's 100% relevant for him to have to be a rookie cop because I feel like he could also just like because the story is really like family based. This mom isn't trying to like kill the entire town, just her family. He doesn't necessarily have to be a cop in order for the story to work. Yeah, but I mean, he definitely can be. These are all such good ideas. You guys, like, I'm so happy that you came to this and are contributing as much as you are. Okay, so this is kind of our general premise for the story. We also have, some side characters, which we'll get to, I think, as we continue to flesh out. Already, like, some side characters that are going to have to probably be introduced are like the character of the dad, maybe other people in the family. If we want to like add a couple of other layers to it, like we have some people thinking that, you know, when the mom is possessing the boys, you might have some sort of police officer that thinks that the boys are going to be in trouble, or like, you know, if the boys do something bad while under the influence of the alien, like they are going to be the ones that end up being in trouble for that. So we'll probably have some sort of law enforcement person to add like, you know, a tension to the story. So I think that we're ready to move on to the second stage, which is figuring out our preliminary plot points for this book. Gail said, could Zach be studying to be a paranormal investigator in college? Interesting. I wish that that was a degree in college. That would have been a cool thing to study. Absolutely. I don't see why not. Ophelia Edwards said, what if the alien is the reason that he's back to his town? That would be very cool. And Gail said that would make him able to access information to figure out the alien species. Oh, also very cool. I wonder if this is a species or if it's like a completely new organism that was created in their weird like experiment gone wrong kind of thing. Or would she have been turned into a specific species, the mom turned alien? But I do think that would be cool because he would be able to use his knowledge of paranormal investigation to figure out what's happening and maybe crack the case at some point in the story. Like that might be a cool skill for him to have. Piper asked, what is the title of this book? That is a good question. I always title books typically very late in the process, so I don't know, and I'm also very bad with titles, but if anybody has ideas for titles, throw them in there and then I can rename our Google Doc to that title. All right, so let's talk about plot points now. So now we have a general idea of who the main characters are, who the antagonists are, etc. So I think like when we think about, or when I outline stories, I always start with, you know, my main conflict and figuring out the main conflict like we just did. And then I always start, when I figure out the plot points, I usually start with the inciting incident, because this is the point that your story really starts. And like thinking about it in this particular example story, really the point that the story starts is there are like 2 points, because it starts when the explosion happens and their mom gets turned into an alien and all of this other crazy stuff happens. And it also starts when the guy comes back to town to try to battle the alien. So when Zach comes back to town. So I think the inciting incident should probably be when Zach comes back to town. And then maybe the point of entry can be kind of like them doing their science experiments. And then we jump forward like however many years, and then we start again. Unless we want to keep it kind of vague what happened between the brothers and reveal it down the line. We can do it either way. Gail said, inciting incident, Zach comes home on break and Eric attacks him instead of ignores him. I love that. That is awesome. Absolutely, because then at that point, Eric will have already been possessed by the alien. This is perfect. Okay, so inciting incident. Zach comes home from paranormal investigation school or college on break, and then Eric attacks him. Instead of just ignores him, maybe like tries to kill him that night while Zach's getting a late night snack or cereals in the kitchen or something like that. Because that could be kind of fun. Like if it's, he grabs like a kitchen knife and there's the whole different like tussle that they have. Gail said, I feel like the science experiment should come back later as a flashback rather than the prologue thing. Yeah, I typically stay away from prologues. I don't like writing prologues. So I agree. This can come back later. It's just like at the beginning, the readers, like really, I think the point of entry should be Zach walking through the door and like Eric hating him. Like there has to be, because the story is about the two brothers, the point of entry has to be something that showcases the fact that they hate each other, because at the end of the book, they're going to like each other. So like Eric hating Zach some moment as soon as he walks through the door. That illustrates how much he hates Zach. Cool. Oh, Anonymous Leaf asked, could you do a video about the different ways of writing a book and a short summary of how it works? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like this live stream right here is kind of walking through my process about how I go about plotting books when I first get ideas for them. Writing a book is a very broad concept, but if you have more specific questions, I have a lot of videos on the channel kind of documenting my process, but my process also keeps changing. Like I'm writing now the third book in my series, and the way that I'm approaching it is very different than the way that I approached the last one and then the one before that. So there are a ton of ways to write a book. Everybody is just trying to figure it out, and everybody is doing their best. But this live stream will give you a good idea of how I would approach starting to write a book. Okay, so we have the point of entry, the inciting incident. The midpoint is the point during the story at which everything changes. So like typically there has to be a genre shift in the midpoint. So I don't know if I talk about examples, I don't want to like spoil very famous movies or anything, but are a couple of movies that I'm thinking about that like up until the midpoint, it seems like, I don't know, there's one in particular I'm thinking about. I'm not going to name it because no spoilers, but up until the midpoint, it's like a very traditional whodunit mystery. And then right after the midpoint, a very crucial piece of information is revealed, and the story stops being a whodunit and starts being a how are they going to get away with it, and it becomes more of a thriller instead of like a mystery. And there's a big genre shift in the midpoint. So usually the midpoint has to be something like they reveal a crazy crucial piece of information, or they discover that there has to be kind of some reversal where things are not exactly what they seem. So a potential midpoint that I'm going to drink some water because my throat's getting dry from all this talking. But a potential midpoint could be them discovering out that the alien is the mom, unless we wanted to save that for a huge reveal in the climax. But that would also be a very good midpoint because that would really change the story. Or they can figure out that it's an alien who's possessing and not just Eric trying to kill Zach or Zach trying to kill Eric. Like they can figure out, because up until then it's like they have to figure out what it is that's hurting them, and then the midpoint shifts things because now they know what's hurting them. They have to figure out how to stop it. So something along those lines. Ophelia Edwards says, what if the point of entry is Zach hearing on the news and maybe in a newspaper about something happening in his town, Zach rushing home but is greeted poorly by his brother? Yeah, that is a good idea. I want to make sure that there is something in the point of entry about his brother. Ophelia Edwards said maybe Zach goes back to his family home and his brother refused to let him in or something like that. Oh, that's a good idea. Or even something like maybe something really horrible happened in the family home and the brother has to call Zach. And like the very, very first like lines of the book are like, I get a call from my brother. I don't know why. I never get a call from my brother, this stupid little, whatever. And then that is kind of like in the very first lines, it sets up the fact that they hate each other. And then the brother on the phone can be like, yeah, dad made me call you. This thing happened and you need to come home. And that can be the thing. Maybe their dad is sick or struggling or something, so the Eric has to be the one to call instead of the brother. The father, maybe. Let's see. Gail said midpoint is finding out that the alien is the mom and that it's both Zach and Eric's fault the alien is here in the first place. Yeah. Anonymous Leaf said maybe the midpoint is when the flashback is. Yes, I also like this idea. Ophelia Edwards said maybe the midpoint is that the brother realized that what is possessing and killing the town is the alien. Yeah, I also like that. I think for now, there are a million different ways we can write this story. I think for now, maybe we hold on to the piece of information that the alien is the mom and we put that in during the climax, because I think that is going to be a crazy, crazy moment in the climax. is the mom reveal? Because that can also maybe tie into the all hope is lost thing, because they don't want to kill the alien if the alien is their mom. Or Zach or Eric goes missing and gets abducted by a UFO. That is very possible. Midsection, they go into a portal, a world where the aliens live. I feel like maybe for this book they stay on Earth, and they don't get to meet the aliens. But this would be a very cool sequel, writing a book 2 where they get to go to the alien world. Oh, maybe possessed Eric attacked Dad. Oh, I like that idea. And that's why Eric calls, because Dad is in the hospital. Okay, yes, great idea. And then he says, like, you need to come home. Dad is in the hospital. And like maybe while Eric is possessed, he has like little bouts of clarity. Like he's able to try to like, he is at war in his mind with this alien that's possessing him, and everything is kind of difficult for him to process. So maybe, you know, he is able to have little moments where he's like, I need to call my brother or something like that. But I really like this idea. Okay, so point of entry, Eric calling Zach not knowing why, saying that their dad is in the hospital because Eric attacked him and Zach needs to come home. Perfect. Okay, so I think this is a good idea for the midpoint. So Zach realizing that what's killing his family is the alien. And then reeling from the so these are like some that I've just added to my list recently because I like these plot points. I read a craft book recently that talked about a lot of these plot points when like in terms of outlining and stuff, and I thought they were very interesting. So the reeling from the midpoint is like something they've just learned a crucial piece of information that rocks their world in some way, and they need to figure out how they're going to move forward with this piece of information. So I think the reeling from the midpoint thing can probably be like Zach buckling down and trying to figure out what kind of alien it is, and like putting his paranormal investigation skills to the test. The whiff of death is the point. I'm trying to remember how they described it in the book. The whiff of death is the point where like the stakes are really high, and if the characters can't pull off what they're trying to pull off, the consequences are going to be disastrous. The book that I read described it as, I think it was the point in like Star Wars A New Hope where they watched the Death Star blow up a planet, and they were like, oh man, this thing is really powerful. It can potentially destroy the world. We really need to pull ourselves together and find a way to destroy the Death Star. So like having some sort of confrontation with what's at stake. I don't necessarily know what that will be for this story yet, but just planting the seed. The ultimate boon, I also really like this one. It's like, it's when the characters think that they're ready to defeat the villain. They have their plan, they are ready to execute their plan, and they try it and everything goes absolutely wrong. They are just like defeated in a really big way. Maybe there's a character death, like it's just an epic disaster, which makes them be like, oh man, okay, I guess we weren't actually ready. And then they have to like try something different and like kind of gear up again in a new way to try to approach the climax. Gail said, reeling from the midpoint you thought of makes me think of a phone a friend at college. Oh, like adding in another character where Zach calls. Oh, this would be a fun side character if Zach has like a really funny kind of like comedic relief friend who's like, who knows a lot about aliens from school. And he called his friend, and the friend came and kind of joined their fight against this alien force. I like that. Okay, I'm gonna add that. Zach calling his alien expert friend and getting his help to defeat the alien. New character. Yay. Oops. Buckling down and whatever. Yes. Okay. Piper said they find a way, a weapon, a potion, a ritual to kill the aliens. Oh yeah, and like maybe they find a way, like a weapon, a potion, or ritual to kill the aliens, and then it doesn't work, and then that's the ultimate boon. And then they try a different thing, like they pivot and they try something else, and then they find out that the alien is the mom, and then all hope is lost, and then they still have to kind of find a way to overcome it. And maybe they don't kill the alien, but they find a way to like put the alien and lock the alien in an urn or something. They can we can figure it out, because like I don't know if we want to go into like them actually killing their mom, the alien, but you know, everything is a possibility. It is kind of a dark story. But I like this. They find a way to kill the aliens. And we can put it here, like they find a way to kill the aliens and it doesn't work. It's an epic disaster. Now, if we were writing this as a book, we would have to figure out a lot more like lore about what these aliens are, how they can be defeated. Like when I was writing my series, I had to do a lot of work to figure out, like, I mean, I'm honestly still doing a lot of this work. Like, how do ghosts work? Can ghosts be killed? How can ghosts be killed? Can things repel ghosts? What are the rules of the ghosts? So we'd have to do this for the aliens too. I don't think we should do it for the sake of this video, because we're just kind of getting a general idea of like how to approach fleshing out an idea and plot gridding. But just if we were doing it as a real book, we would need to figure that out. Okay, so yeah, the ultimate boon they find out it's an epic disaster. Let's see. Ophelia Edwards said the father is about to die if the alien is not found and killed, because the possession is the because the possession is the reason for the killing. Oh, so they have to find the alien to save they have to kill the alien to save the dad. That could work. Or maybe like the alien has to be possessing the dad in order for the dad to heal properly. Like I really like that, because every single thriller has to have a ticking clock. So you have to have some sort of pressure to put on the characters that makes them feel like they need to achieve these things fast. And this is a lot of the times really hard to create. So like a lot of the times it's like, you know, in my series, it's the kid goes missing. Oh no, we don't know what's going to happen to him. We need to find him as fast as possible. But if you have a very clearly delineated ticking clock, like you can see the dad's health deteriorating, that's just going to put more pressure on the characters as they go through this. Anonymous Leaf said, are we doing the plot grid yet, or is this just preparing for the plot grid? This is still preparing for the plot grid. I promise we're going to get there really soon. As soon as we have these, like, I think we just need to figure out what the resolution and what the climax is going to be, and then we're going to jump into plot grids, and I'm going to show you how to set everything up. But you have to kind of have an understanding of what you want to put into the plot grid before we set up the plot grid. Let's see. Gail said, maybe the ultimate boon is it half possessing Eric and half possessing Zach. Ooh, like it splits in half and it's making them fight each other. It's an epic disaster. Like, yeah, the alien partially possesses Zach and Eric and is making them fight each other. So we have the alien is the mom reveal. They don't want to kill the mom, so they have to pivot. All right. Oh, Ophelia Edwards said, what I mean is maybe the alien is not trying to kill, but the possession can cause killing. And if the alien does not die, maybe it's a time crunch, like they only have 48 hours. Yeah, I really like the time crunch thing. So let's see. Ticking clock, dad is going to die if they don't find and kill the alien. I really like that. That's very important. Very good job, Ophelia Edwards, for bringing that up. Hi, Javaria. Thanks so much for stopping by. We are in the middle. We're about to start fleshing out our plot grid. We're just finishing our general ideas for this example story. Gail said, I like the mom in urn thing, which rounds out where it lived in the first place. Yeah, I agree. I like the mom in urn thing. I think we should do that. Piper Wright said, I invented a species called the extraterrestrials, blue aliens that carry blasters. Very cool. I think we're going to have to create some sort of original alien for this story, because we need the alien to like work in a very specific way in order to create the emotional conflict we want to create between the brothers. But we can always revisit that later on if we were actually writing this story. But that's really cool. You created your own alien species. Anonymous Leaf said, what if the alien is like the medicine to heal the dad? Oh, like the alien's guts. Oh, I like that. That's very creepy. Okay, I like it. Let's do it. Find and kill the alien and use the alien to heal the dad. Anything is possible because we're making all of this up. Okay, so whiff of death is like maybe like the dad's health is really deteriorating. Please pretend like I know how to spell. Okay, so the climax and all hope is lost. So they have, and they don't want to kill the mom, so they have to pivot. Okay, so they find another way to defeat the alien, about to kill alien. Then the alien is the mom reveal happens, so they have to pivot, and then they lock. Because the brothers are able to work together, this is super important. This is the entire point of the story. They are able, because the brothers are able to work together, they lock mom in the urn. Maybe like one of them, or they're both being possessed, and the way to get them to stop being possessed is for them to connect emotion, or like for them to be like, Eric, man, like I still love you, like I understand, or whatever, and like that produces enough of an emotional reaction and connects to the Eric part of his brain that's still in there to get him to overpower the alien, and for them to like be able to work together and save the day. But that kind of brotherly connection has to be the reason that they're able to defeat the alien. If it's not the reason, then the story falls apart. We need to, like, the story is about the brothers, not necessarily about the alien. So the resolution is that the brothers are now close and everything is better. Like, obviously they still miss their mom, but now they've been able to heal their relationship and overcome that trauma. Oh, and they save their dad. Well, actually, they might not be able to lock the mom in the urn if they have to use the alien guts to save the dad. So, we might need to, maybe they use, like, they lock mom in the urn, use just 1 or 2 guts to save the dad. Fine. Okay, cool. Oh, we got some more comments. Piper said, are they xenomorph, neomorph type aliens? I do not know what those type of aliens are. I don't know very much about aliens. Gail said, maybe the half possession makes the connection defeat of the alien possible. Like it's half as strong because that's a really good idea. I like that idea. Yes. Okay. Being in 2 hosts makes the alien only 1/2 as strong. So it can be defeated. And both of them have to recognize their shame and their internal struggles, because maybe the alien feeds on their fear or something. So they have to come to terms with like the guilt that they carry about their mom's death in order to be able to like hold on to their brain enough to be able to work together to defeat the alien inside their brain. We're all geniuses. This is going so well. But okay, now it's time for the plot grid, because we've now been here for 1 hour and 10 minutes, and I want to make sure that we actually get to the plot grid part of this video before we go on for too long. So I'm going to quickly stop sharing my screen and create a screen on Google Sheets. And we're just going to start filling out this plot grid. It's going to be very, very bare bones. We're not going to fill out the entire plot grid because that would take a very long time. We're just going to fill out kind of the plot points that we've already established, and I'm going to show you how I go about creating a plot grid from scratch, because I know that it can be a little bit daunting. But okay, so I'm going to share my screen, or I think I have to stop sharing and I have to start sharing another screen. I've never had multiple tabs to share on StreamYard before. Okay, let's see. Can everybody see that? Is that okay? Cool. I'm going to zoom in to make sure that everybody can see it. Hopefully that helps. Cool. Okay, so this is just a blank document on Google Sheets. For those of you who don't know, a plot grid is the way that I love to outline my stories. I have made many videos on this channel about plot grids. It's kind of become like my signature video on this channel is talking about plot grids. A plot grid is just an outline for a book in a grid form. So if you see here in obviously a grid, you have columns which go up and down, and you have rows which go from side to side. So when you have a plot grid, every single row can correspond to a different chapter in your book. So, you know, you have chapter 1, and then you can fill in all of these boxes once we, have headings for these. So like, let's say that this column corresponds to the chapter number, and this column corresponds to the time that the chapter takes place, and this column corresponds to the point of view character that the chapter is being told from. This column corresponds to the main mystery plot. This column corresponds to the subplot of, Zach's character growth. This one is Eric's character growth. Then when you fill in all these boxes, you can track every single one of these subplots individually throughout your story. So instead of having to guess like how many times you bring up Eric's character development, you can see everything consolidated here. Like you can say like, okay, in chapter 5, he advances in this way and he learns this. And then in chapter 9, he learns this, which leads him to learn this in chapter 14. And everything is just easy to access and all in one place. So it's easy when you're outlining to be able to go down all of these columns and make sure that all of your plots have very fleshed out beginning, middles, and ends. Does that make sense? Gail said, quick question from a discovery writer or plantser. Do you think it would be a good idea for me to use the plot grid more as an editing tactic rather than an outlining tactic? The zero draft being the brainstorming we've done so far, and the plot grid being the drafts to organize what you already have. Yes, 100 times yes. Do not use plot grids if you are a big discovery writer. If you love to pants your projects, it will probably kill your love and joy of writing. So don't do it. But it is really, really good to edit. Like what I do when I'm creating second drafts, or what I've done in the past, is I will have a first draft of a story, and I'll be like, oh, I don't really like it. I know there's a lot of things that are going on here and I can't quite gather my thoughts. I will just create a plot grid, and I will insert everything into a plot grid exactly the way it is. So I'll go through all of my chapters and I'll be like, okay, in this chapter, my main character has this moment of character growth, and I will put it into the plot grid. And then after I have filled it out and created a plot grid exactly reflecting what I have in my draft, then I use a different color and I color code it a little bit. And then I will write stuff in green that I want to add to the plot grid, and then I will delete stuff, and I will just kind of create the book that I want the book to be in a plot grid, and then rewrite the draft. So it's a really, really effective tool for seeing things from the big picture. But yeah, absolutely don't do this before writing your first draft if you are a pantser or a plantser who likes light outlining. Piper asks, what is a plantser? A plantser is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Gail, but it is a kind of someone on the spectrum between a plotter and a pantser who likes to pants their stories but still do a little bit of plotting, and still have a bit of a plan when they go in. This is more talking than I've done in a while. I feel like I'm going to lose my voice tomorrow. Okay, so this is kind of, the general idea behind a plot grid. So when I first open the document, one thing that I like to do just for aesthetic reasons is I like to center all of the top things in the first row, because these are going to be the titles of all of the things in our columns. I also a pure aesthetic thing, I like to create little boxes. I like to fill them in a different color. So let's do like light yellow or something because it'll be nice. It just differentiates it a little bit from everything that's the actual like meat of your plot grid down here and the meat of your story. So let's put in our titles. So first, we're going to do chapter number. You can type in whatever you want and call these whatever you want. We're going to do, these are ones that I like to do. I always like to do time so I can keep track of the timeline as I'm going through my book, because otherwise I will get totally lost and make a bunch of things happen on one day when things really feasibly cannot all happen on the same day. I also do POV character. This is also something that we want to maybe consider for this book, is doing dual point of views for like half the chapters are from Zach's point of view and half the chapters are from Eric's point of view. Something to consider. Okay, so now we're going to have main plot. This is going to be the hunt for the alien, and all, or it's going to be hunt for aliens / brothers' character journey and like their emotional growth. So just like these are the main events that happen. But what are some other subplots that we have in this story? Some of the other subplots we have are Zach's character growth, like Zach's character arc, which isn't really a subplot, but there are also things we want to make sure that we keep track of Zach and Eric's arc, or arcs, just because we want to make sure that they grow over the course of the book. We don't want them to just like suddenly have a realization at the end that they actually like their brother and that they're sorry. We want a bunch of little events to trigger that realization at the end and allow them to save the day. So we want to have a separate arc that allows them to see that. Okay, so we want to probably we have a side character. Now we have the best friend of Zach from Paranormal Investigation School who comes in. That could be a fun subplot if we wanted to do that. I don't know if we wanted to like add a romantic subplot, but maybe, you know, Zach can have his friend from school come in and like both of them can kind of develop a romantic connection. But also, you know, this story doesn't really seem to be one that needs a lot of romance. So I think that because it's really about the brothers, I don't think it needs a lot of romance. But if we wanted to add romance, maybe, you know, I know we had a lot of names before, but the only one that I can remember is, I think, Cody. If we wanted to have Cody be the friend from school, then like maybe he and Zach can kind of like, you know, develop a bit of a romantic connection if we wanted. I don't know. We can really have whatever we want for subplots. I always like to add a romantic subplot in my books, but I also write young adult, and I just, you know, typically see YA books with romantic subplots. But we don't have to have one. I know Brian Tells Tales suggested having some sort of custodian come in at some point, and I don't know, like if we have a side arc there. Oh, we also want to make sure that we track the dad's health, because the dad's health is going to deteriorate over the course of the story, and that's going to be a ticking clock sorry, my brain is not functioning, that is going to progress over the story, over the course of the story. Oh, we have some new comments. Hi, Lab. Thanks so much for stopping by. English is not my first language, but I want to be fluent like you in both writing and speaking. What's the best way to approach it? I think just by listening and talking a lot. I think you're doing the right thing, just trying to listen to a lot of English and practicing a lot. I don't have a lot of tips, but I know that, you know, I also speak French, and because my family is French, and that's what has helped me a lot, is just by listening to it and trying to practice. So, and plot grid like J.K. Rowling mapped out Harry Potter. Yes, exactly. This is the method that J.K. Rowling said that she used to map out the Harry Potter series. I read about it in an article, and it just really clicked with my brain, and this is just the way that I outline all of my books now. Gail said, I still think girl geek sci-fi enthusiast for best friend, romance or not. Okay, yeah, no, I like it. I think that this story needs a little bit more girl power. If it's like really focused on the brothers, I think having a little bit of a girl presence in the book would also be cool. So we can have like let's just say friendship. We don't need to have a romance subplot. Friendship with friend from school. Maybe they like progress to being like BFFs by the end of the book. with geeky friend. You want to make sure that these are all kind of like long enough. Or what I always do is I click on this little thing, text wrapping, and wrap the text so that they will, like, it'll go onto a new line instead of just be one straight block of text, because it allows everything to be more consolidated. Okay, so I feel like that's you get the idea of the general thing that you do when you create titles, but you can create as many subplots as you want. Okay, so now let's go back to try to like pull some of the things that we had in our document from before into our plot grid. I don't know if I'll be able to share both of them at the same time, so I'll just start copy and pasting some stuff from our video or our Google Docs document before. So our point of entry is going to be in chapter 1. So in chapter 1, the time, we're going to wrap this text too so that it looks a little nicer, and make it in the middle. Yes, perfect. Okay. So the time, maybe we have it be, I don't know, like on, it just has to be a day. It doesn't really matter that much. Let's just say he comes back on a Saturday from school. So the point of view, let's say it's Zach, because he is going to end up being kind of attacked by Eric, maybe. And we want that to be a surprise to the readers. So then we also have the inciting incident, which is probably also going to happen. These two things can happen in the same chapter. I always like to usually have my inciting incident happen at the end of chapter 1. So Zach's arc, at this point, he doesn't like Eric and still resents him even more now that Eric attacked him. Eric's arc, he is currently possessed. Also still resents Zach. This is like the status quo right here. Squo. That's how we used to write it when I used to do debate. We would write like squo on our flows for debate rounds. So the dad's health, not great since he was just attacked. And friends to BFFs with geeky friend. Geeky friend is not there right now. Not in the book right now. Okay, so now we have the next chapter. We probably want one from Eric's point of view, also on Saturday. This will be interesting because he's currently possessed by the alien. We can have something in here. I'm not going to fill out every single chapter, but I'm just going to skip to our next big plot point that we have, which is the midpoint. So the midpoint usually comes around halfway through. All of my books have around 40 chapters, so usually this is around the 20 chapters mark. So let's just pretend that, down here is 20 chapters in, just so we can kind of see all of the things at the same time. So chapter 20, let's say this happens on a Wednesday. This is from Zach's point of view. Zach realizes what's killing his family is the alien. Something has to happen in order for Zach to realize that what's killing his family is the alien. So like probably alien reveals itself somehow, will happen in like chapter 19, that maybe happens on a Tuesday. And that probably should also be from Zach's point of view, because Zach is going to be the one coming to this realization. All right, and then our next plot point that we have is reeling from the midpoint. So maybe reeling from the midpoint is in chapter 21. Can also be maybe a Thursday. I have a really bad habit of having all of my chapters happen on the same day. I mean, not necessarily on the same day, but I think all of my events that I was going through my outline for my thriller that I'm writing right now, and all of the events happen within like a 1.5 week period. And there is a lot of stuff that happens, because I always try to condense it as much as possible, just to make like all the pacing super tight, instead of having them like, go to bed and the next day they approach it. Because if it all happens right away, like it feels really urgent, like they have no time to lose, they have to act right now. So yeah, so the alien expert, sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. Hold on one second. Sorry, can everybody hear me? I think I'm back. I just like had a weird Wi-Fi issue. Um anyway, yeah, so Zach is calling his alien expert friend and getting his help to defeat the alien. You have your new character that's introduced, so you go back down to this like friends to BFFs with geeky friend column, and you can enter here like new friend is introduced. And you know, you kind of get the idea. Like this is how you go through and add stuff to a plot grid. This is how you set it up. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Anonymous Leaf said if he's coming back from school, why is it on a Saturday? Very good point. I thought it was just a college, like kind of a boarding school type situation, which is why he'd have to come home. Because I thought he was a little older, but we can also make it during the day. Just, coming up with random ideas. These all can be changed later. I'm just trying to give you an idea of the different ways that you can fill this out. Our next plot point that we had Whiff of Death, which was when the dad's health is really deteriorating. So maybe you want to have that in chapter 24. You can even have that from Eric's point of view. We have to figure out like how long is the alien going to possess Eric? Like there are a lot of questions still that have yet to be answered, that we would have to figure out if what the answers are if we were actually writing this as a book. Then we'd have the ultimate boon, we'd have the climax and the all hope is lost, and then the resolution and all of that stuff. So I can paste everything onto the sheets plot grid, but I think this should give you a decent idea as to how to set everything up. Does this make sense to everybody? Would you rather see me paste everything into the comments or into the plot grid just so you can see it all laid out? Or do you kind of understand how you could go about setting up a plot grid if you wanted to? Let me know. I'm very happy to keep going over it. I know we've been here for an hour and a half now, so I don't want to drag this on too long. It's also 8:30 where I am, and I should probably go and get some dinner. But I hope that this was helpful to everybody. For all of you who are still here, thank you so much for joining me for this lesson. Let me know if you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it and if this was fun and helpful, I am super happy to start making more of these videos on this channel, because I don't know, it's a fun way to do it interactive. Like when I do these on my own, it takes a really long time to film them, and I think that it's kind of more interesting when you're doing it collaboratively, I think, as a viewer, because you're able to impact the direction that the story goes in. But let me know. Happy to do, more of these if you're interested in watching them. Yeah. All right. I think I'm gonna go have some dinner. Thank you all again for coming. If you have any questions about plot grids, ask them right now, so I can go over them, because we have a plot grid set up and everything, and I can answer any questions that you have about creating plot grids or setting them up. Or if anybody is watching the replay, comment on the video with your questions about plot grids, or come to another one of these if I do them in the future, and I'm happy to answer them live. Yeah, I'm here if anybody needs any help. Thank you all again so much for coming. Bye, Piper. Thanks so much for coming. It was so good to see you. Bye, Gail. Thank you also so much for coming. I'm so glad that you were able to stay, and I'm so glad that this was fun. I had so much fun doing this with all of you, and I really appreciate you spending so much time hanging out with me. So yeah, all right. I'm going to get going, and I will see you all. And as always, happy